Have you ever thought about what happens when a single, painful memory from childhood becomes the spark for a lifelong fight? Today, we're diving into two incredible real-life accounts that explore that very idea.
Then I lost my spirit. Just let that sink in for a moment. This one line from one of our storytellers, Zitkala-Sa, is just a gut punch. It captures the exact moment a childhood was fractured and a rebel was forged.
So our focus is on two young girls from completely different parts of the world. They were separated by thousands of miles, by culture, by language. But as we'll see, they were connected by a shared experience, a shocking early brush with deep, profound discrimination. What we're looking at are two powerful, true stories from their lives. Each one is like a snapshot of a single moment that would echo through the rest of their lives and really define who they would become.
All right, so let's meet them. On one hand, you've got Zitkala-Sa, a Native American girl who was shipped off to a boarding school in the U.S. These schools had a very clear and very brutal goal: to strip indigenous children of their culture. On the other hand, we have Bama, a young Tamil Dalit girl in India who comes face to face with the cruelty of the caste system. Two totally different worlds, yet both were up against systems designed to do the exact same thing: to strip them of their dignity.
Let's start with Zitkala-Sa's story. And I have to tell you, this is so much more than just a tough first day at school. This was a calculated, systematic assault on her identity, her culture, her very spirit. I mean, just try to imagine it. You're a child. You're ripped away from everything you've ever known, and you're dropped into what she called a land of apples, a place with zero warmth or familiarity. The clothes were stiff and strange. She couldn't understand a word anyone said. It was just a world of cold, clanging bells and rigid, unfeeling rules.
Get this. Even something as simple and natural as eating a meal was turned into this bizarre, robotic drill. A bell rings, you pull your chair out. A second bell rings, you sit down. A third bell rings, and only then you can finally eat. Zitkala-Sa, of course, had no idea what these signals meant, so she sat down too early and was immediately stared at, singled out for not conforming.
And this feeling of being, well, less than human, she just nails it with her own words here. The people in charge weren't teachers, they were herders, and she felt like just another animal in the herd, with no individuality at all. It's such a devastatingly accurate way to describe her new reality.
But out of all the indignities she faced, one act was the most brutal of all: the cutting of her long, thick hair. Now, you might be thinking, okay, a forced haircut, that's bad, but why was it so traumatic? Well, it was a huge deal. What did it really represent?
You see, this was never just a haircut. It was a weapon of humiliation. In her culture, long hair was a symbol of bravery. The only people with short, shingled hair were captured warriors who were shamed for being cowardly, or people who were mourning a death. So by cutting her hair, the school was deliberately branding her. They were trying to break her spirit by marking her as defeated.
Okay, now let's jump halfway across the globe. Because while all this was happening, another young girl's innocence was about to be completely shattered. We're heading to a small village in South India to meet Bama, who witnessed something that would change the way she saw the world forever.
So picture this. Bama's just a kid, walking home from school, taking her time, watching the world go by. And she sees an elder from her street carrying a snack packet, but he's holding it by the string way out in front of him so it doesn't touch his body. To her young eyes, this is just the funniest thing she's ever seen. It looks like a silly performance. She has no idea she's actually watching a scene of profound humiliation.
The reason for that strange scene comes down to one horrific concept: untouchability. The elder, being from a so-called low caste, was forbidden from touching the food packet directly because his very touch was considered polluting to the upper caste man the food was for. The comedy Bama saw was in reality a tragedy born from centuries of prejudice.
So Bama runs home, excited to tell her older brother Annan about the funny man she saw. She expects him to laugh too, but he doesn't. He's not amused at all, and he has to explain the grim reality of their place in society to his little sister. But he doesn't just leave her with despair. He gives her a path forward. So what was that advice?
And this, right here, is the turning point for Bama. Her brother tells her that because of the community they were born into, they are denied dignity. But he says, you have a weapon, and that weapon is education. He tells her, if you study hard, if you are always ahead of everyone else, then respect will have to follow. People will have to come to you.
All right, so now that we've seen both of these powerful moments, let's bring them together.
Because in Zitkala-Sa's fierce defiance and in Bama's quiet determination, we see the exact same thing taking root, the powerful seeds of rebellion.
Now, their rebellions looked completely different on the surface, right? Zitkala-Sa's was immediate, raw, and physical. She literally hid, she kicked, she scratched, she fought like a cornered animal until she was overpowered. Then you have Bama. Her rebellion, guided by her brother, was strategic, it was intellectual. She channeled all of that anger and humiliation into her schoolwork, studying so hard she became first in her class. She turned education into her weapon.
But really, when you get down to it, their stories are telling us the same fundamental truth. It doesn't matter if the oppression is based on race, or colonialism, or caste. The human spirit is wired to fight back. Both of these girls, in their own unique ways, simply refuse to submit to a system designed to crush them.
So why do these memories from so long ago still resonate so powerfully today? Well, because they get at a timeless truth about where the fight for human dignity really begins. So what can we really take away from all this? First, it's that resistance often starts in childhood, in these moments that seem small but are actually life-changing. Second, that oppression, whatever its name, is always an attack on dignity. But here's the part that I find so incredible. The ultimate rebellion for both Zitkala-Sa and Bama was that they grew up to become writers. Think about that for a second. They went from being characters in a painful story someone else was writing for them to seizing control of the narrative themselves. They used their voices as their power.
There's a theme that runs through all of this, and it can be summed up perfectly with this quote: "Where there is oppression, there will be resistance." It's not a possibility, it's a certainty. It's almost presented as a law of human nature, that the struggle for freedom is the inevitable answer to any force that tries to take it away.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to ponder. These stories aren't just history lessons. They're a mirror. They prompt us to look at our own world and ask, what forms of injustice, big or small, still exist around us? And maybe more importantly, how do people today find that courage to resist, whether it's with a physical fight or with the power of their mind and their voice?